Hello. Okay. Okay, let's start this from the top. I just unplugged the mic and replugged it in. So, got a little bit of... was no stream last week because we had some things going on here. You know, neither here nor there. You guys should be able to hear me now. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I had a problem with the mic. It wasn't recognizing itself, and so I had to unplug it and plug it back in. So yeah, had some stuff go on. So we didn't do a stream last week, and Donnie's been screaming for weeks for me to do more Enterprise. So I'm doing the last issue of the Enterprise I have. Said this before I had a working mic. I'm no longer going to be using the DroidCam for streaming because it's a little bit flaky. So I've got right now I've got a C615, I've got a C922, and I'll pick up another camera or two later on. So other than that, not a whole lot going on. Well, huge change in my life. I'm going back to my old job. Very happy about that. So, don't know when for sure, and we're in the middle of closeout, so it's good for me as a government budget analyst. So the next couple of weeks is going to be pretty exciting. So let me switch cameras. So this is the new view until I get more cameras. Maybe eventually put one directly above here, up on top of the monitor, pointing straight down. But this still gives a pretty good view. I just need to remember where to bring stuff to. Thanks, Kenny. To where to bring stuff to show it, bring it close up to the camera, and hopefully, since they're Logitech, they won't be doing anything silly. So this is the last thing we worked on the Enterprise, and I looked, and it's going to be more of the saucer. Great, Donnie. I knew you would. Didn't get any tickets on the way home, did you? And hey, Mark. And by the way, I didn't say hey to Eric. Glad that they have more chips, that you're finally able to go back to work, Donnie. That is huge. I know that it sucks when you can't go to work and can't earn money. So let me flip this open. So like I said, or like it said in the description, we're starting on stage 27. Didn't bring everything over yet. Oh, let me get the... Oh, that was bad. Stepped on the leg of the table. So this is where I store stuff for this thing. There's the screw box, or for this thing, for the Enterprise. My wife just finished making dinner, so I just finished eating. And that's where my spare parts are stored. And extra issues. Hey, screwdriver. Might need that. So, Kenny, I've had that problem before. So from your side of it, what you need to do is go up to where it says top chat and switch it to live chat. That way you can see everybody. Figured that out one time when we were watching, Donnie and I were watching Eric's stream, American Truck Simulator, and we were both on there and we couldn't see each other. See, there you go. That's awesome. They have chips right now, at least for now. Hopefully they will keep them in stock. So another little screwdriver in here. Actually, this is issue 27. This is the first one we're going to do. Got some windows. Got part of the neck. These windows are actually held in by the clear parts that are already in. Did some looking in the book already. Got more of the neck, a little bit more of the saucer, some more lights. Issue 29, more of the saucer, more little windows, lots of lights. I'm not buying them all. I don't buy hardly as much as everybody likes to think. I just have bought. That's the thing. The way you get a stash the size of mine is you spend 8 years buying 1 or 2 models a month or more. It's more than that. This is not gonna. These windows here are not gonna have any clear pieces in them, I don't think. More of the saucer and kind of more little windows. So since there's a lot of windows, there's that. HLI is buying all this stuff. So since there's a lot of little windows, I'm going to get started. Because this is probably going to end up becoming a 2-parter. Because number of windows, I almost guarantee I'm going at least 2 hours. Get all the parts out, including the new little bitty screwdriver. I'm sure that little screwdriver is because there's somewhere that is going to be very small or tight to get to with a regular size screwdriver. Does it? Okay. Did not know that, Mark. So in here we have a couple of lifeboats. Got the BM, some EM screws. Yep. If it comes down to it, Donnie, if I run out of time or if I hit 2 hours, this will be a 2-parter, which means I'll have back-to-back Enterprise streams. Might be Thursday, might be next Tuesday. It depends on how things go at work and how busy it is. This is most people call it the worst time of the year. Most government budget analysts call it the worst time of the year. I have a blast with it every year. It's not more Enterprise, Donnie. It's the same Enterprise. It's just spread out. And unfortunately, Donnie, like I said earlier, this may be the last Enterprise for a while. There it is. When anybody who's been paying attention to any of my, at all on my Discord, F-16 is looking really good. I've done all the decals on the bottom. Still got to put on the armament, missiles and all that. Start working the decals on the bottom or on the sides, and then I'll do the top. And then I'll build a diorama for it. I was discouraged a couple of times on the 16, but I am very, very happy with the way it's going. Of course I am. People tell me that. But, you know, the closeout is very exciting. Something's always going on where the rest of the year things can get boring. I honestly like closeout and when we're doing the spend plans. Okay, so I will. I've got, Kenny, I have got a lot to post on that because I have taken, not hundreds, but I was about to say, I've taken a bunch of photos of that thing as I'm going along. He got more, did he get episode, or issue 9, Donnie? Because this, I'm up to issue 8, and that's all I know that they have. Two things I do not have. Oh, by the way, Kenny, you would be proud of me. I cleaned my desk today. I cleaned my workbench. I have clean workspace all on both tables right now. Had to have something to do between the time I got off work and started the stream. So Wayne got more parts. I'll have to watch his video too. I still need to go back and do the mod on the warp engines with the copper. I thought I had. I do not. Oh, I already grabbed it. It's right in front of me. I try. It was time. It was really getting hard to find anything because I had half the stuff in the tray here was spread all over the desk. I had paint everywhere. Got Cobra Head finished and almost the entire top of the saucer. He's got to be further than issue 9. He's got to be up to like 12 or 13 with that much. But had half of this stuff and a bunch of this stuff and a bunch of stuff in the drawers on top of the table today. It was just time. It had to be cleaned. Okay, so let me put these in. And it's funny because I was looking through the book, and there's a spot where it says tape these in because you're not putting anything under them right now. And I'm like, nope. I might tape them still, but I'm still gluing these things. I'm well behind on World of Wayne because I've picked up other channels that I'm watching. So I used to stay a steady 6 months or 5 months behind. Now I'm staying a steady 6 months behind on my videos. Hey Dan, welcome. I don't believe I've seen you on the stream before. Another thing I had all over the bench when I cleaned it up today, I literally had 4 sets of sprue cutters on it. So on here, I need 7 clear and 3 dark. I bet if I look in this box, I have those in separate little screws. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let me get this one, keep this one up here handy. Yeah, the Enterprise takes a bunch of room. Ah, well, welcome back, Dan. Glad you made it back. And I understand what you're saying, Mark, because I had to clear this up to work on the Enterprise. The F-16's almost done, so the space shuttle and tower will be moving back over here. I'm old, Dan. I think, actually, trying to remember, I think I might be the oldest one that's here right now. If I'm not, then Mark's got me, but I think I'm older than Mark. I mean, it makes me almost, well, not the old guy at the HLI, because I know there are several people that are a little bit older than I am. Okay, so there's 7, and then 3 of these. I already looked. The only ones I have of the black windows are full sprues. Yeah, I think what it is we've just what we've talked about, Mark, is that we figured out that I can retire like a little bit longer than, or a little bit sooner than you do. Man, Kenny, 49. I remember when I was watching you and you were 47. Well, I can't work on the Enterprise every week because I'm out of Enterprise after this set. And so, Dan, actually, you've got all of us beat. I'm 57. Creeping up on 58 in about, what is it, September, so it's about 6 months. How do I go out and get more if they don't have any more? I know what we do, Danny. Or, yeah, Donnie. I did not see that. Wow. Solar res on all these little windows. It would work. It would look really cool, but that would be a ton of work. Had one of the windows pop out. I can tell it's been a while since I've done windows because they're going right in without arguing with me at all. And oh, by the way, it has been a long time since I did the Enterprise, and yet I still have not gone back and fixed the spots that I keep talking about fixing. I think I'm just going to leave them be and see how it comes out. I know you're 57, Mark, but I think my birthday's in February. When is yours? Or no, wait. You're 57? You beat me. You beat me, Mark. I'm 56. I said I was 57, but I'm old enough that I'm forgetting. It's just a number, man. It's not the age. It's how many times you creak when you get up. And the SolarRes would work for you, Mark, if you haven't glued your windows, but like you guys see, I'm gluing my windows, including when I put them on the table. I'm gluing the windows in just so that I don't have to fight with them when I'm putting the rest of it together. If you haven't glued the windows in, then SolarRes would probably be a really good way to go. So let's just read you're not 100, Mark. Not yet. You've done both glue and knot. I don't know how well the ones that are glued in are going to come out, or if you try to take them out, how well they're going to come back out. I would hazard that you're going to mar your paint pretty bad, or I would guess that you're going to mar your paint really bad if you do that. GB, welcome. Hopefully it's not too late for you over there, GB. I think it's, what is it? It's 6 here, so it should be about 1 or 2 over there, I think. Those. Come on, stay in there. That happens quite regularly. It's been being good tonight, but that one window wanted to come out. Of course, it being CA, it wants to stick to me now. Good afternoon, Cap. Welcome to my stream. That's not bad, GB. 12:20, that means if you watch the whole thing, you should be done by, or I should be done by 2 o'clock your time. Okay, so this is where it says to be aware that these are not glued in, or not attached, but they are glued in. Oops. set this over here. Hopefully it won't glue itself to anything. Take the bridge off, if it will come off. So this oh, okay. I'm sitting here looking at it going, why is it over here? Yeah, so this goes over here. And you can see right here, there's the reflective, the clear parts with the reflective material backing them. And that's actually going to be, that's what's supposed to hold these windows in rather than the glue. And I need, shows 1 times BM screw. Screwdrivers. This, slide this up in here, just make sure I'm not pinching any wires, hit the lugs. It says to do the BM screw furthest away first. I know this thing is huge. I want to say it's, what is it? It's 27 inches across, the saucer itself, and I think it's 30 something long. Okay, so there are these lights. And truly the worst part of this model is your wire management and lighting management, getting everything in the right spot. So I've got a red and a blue right here. You can see red and got red and blue here, yellow and black here. It has it going all underneath. Now, let me spin this around to match what the book shows. So red and blue will go here. Yellow and black will go here. The yellow and black goes up underneath this brace assembly right here, or this bracing piece. So he's on issue 10. So he's 2 issues ahead of me, which is funny because World of Wayne started well before I did. This was released. Well, no, he didn't start well before I did, but he, I don't remember how far ahead of me he was. It was one of the few things that I've watched him build that I was actually on par with him for a little bit. So I'm loosening this screw back up. That's cool. That is really cool. GB, I would, you know, it's one of these things, that's part of the reason that I will definitely, if not this coming year, in some year I will make it to Wonderfest just so that I can meet all the people that I watch. Come on. So there's a lug right here that this wire is supposed to wrap around. I'm not sure how well you guys can see this. I will eventually get a better camera set up. Actually, let me see something. Let me just do this. Let me see. That's as tall as that goes. Excuse my hand. So what I just did was this wire here, or this LED here and this LED here, I've slipped up into the clear piece here. And now I'm holding it up. The pins should be good. I'm holding it. And let me retighten this screw. And you can see this, the yellow and black wire go underneath the brace right here. We do. We need to have a bunch of us meet. That's cool. I would love to meet Wayne. Okay, so I got those, and I need one. Let me just start. I need BM screws, and EM. And it looks like 5 BMs, 4 EMs. There's 3. Pardon my creaky chair. The chair will be a year old this Christmas. It's one of them things of when you're a little bit hefty, chairs don't last that long. So I'm gonna go with this one here. Spence, welcome. How are things in your neck of the woods? Okay, that's that one. That's okay. Now that I see where they go, I'm going to go ahead and put the EMs in, because what they're doing is they're holding the clear part flush or tightly against the saucer surface as they can. Oops. And it's getting ready to storm outside here. We're supposed to have intermittent thunderstorms for the rest of the night. There's 2. Whoops, almost lost that one. That's one nice thing about a lot of these part works. This is one of them that does it. You end up with a lot of extra screws, which I was going to use. I was going to use some screws into the 16 nose to hold, for weight. What I actually ended up doing, something. Did I put an EM somewhere other than where it was supposed to be? So what I actually ended up doing was I've used some of the what is it? Blue tack while I was painting the model to make sure I didn't paint areas that I didn't want to. Used it for masking, like for the wheel wells and the intake especially. Drive safe, Mark. And we'll see you later. But so I've used some blue. Oops, I used some blue tack as paint mask, and so instead of worry about whether it's going to stick anymore or not, I just took a wad of it, filled the radome. Okay, so that's those 4. Let me see where these 4 EMs go. Put that one in. The 4 corners, of course. I always consider buying an electric screwdriver for this, but never before for these, and never do. Maybe someday, but maybe not. So there's number 3. And number 4. And this is where I remember that I have the have to remember that I have the power supply that I'm supposed to be using pretty much taken apart. Those of you who've been watching since the beginning know that this thing kind of fell apart on me. And I have not welded it or soldered it back together, the leads. So this is where I take my, if I can find it, just take this little junction box or junction board here, and remember to turn my voltage down to about 3.3, or I turned it down to 3.3, but down well below 4 volts so that I don't inadvertently blow out my lights. Because Eaglemoss will replace defective parts, but they will not. I've seen them come out right and say it on Facebook that they will not replace parts that people have broken through stupidity. And that it would be a stupid move to blow out lights like that. So I'm going to turn this over. Let me smack stuff around the table. So this should be the one, yeah, this is the one I just put in. I'm down to 3.3 volts. Just in case anybody's curious, the so you guys should have seen it earlier. The HLIFX 01 and 02 actually are still running. Bring that just up a hair. Now see, it's okay the way they did it, but having 2 bright lights right there and nothing on the rest isn't that good. It's because the lights are directly underneath those windows. Not much I can do to it at this point. Maybe later, probably not, because I build entirely too many models. So this can move out of the way. And bring the Cobra's neck over. This part here. This is 1, 2, 5 BM screws. There's, bring this up just a hair. Let me do one thing. It was washing me out earlier, so I turned it off before I started the stream. Oops. Not the garage door opener. Alexa. Sorry guys if this is boring. I'm working on turning on the lights right there to give it a little bit better. There. A little bit better light. I believe it, Kenny. So what's your policy on your boards for somebody who hooks them up and leaves them running for the full 10 years? You know, non-stop, 24 hours a day, but with the right voltage. So, let me bring this up. A screw hole here, one here, 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 and here. Matches up with the screw holes on here. There's these 2 feet looking things there, which I'm not sure what those are going to do. That sits on there like that, and then it gets 5 BM screws. 2. I'm doing these like I always do, cross corner. And this, just with the number of wires that are in this issue, this is where things are going to start getting a little bit complicated, because this thing has so many lights in it. I appreciate that, Kenny. You know, eventually that board, my 001, will end up in my Voyager. Is that one? Oh. Not sure that one. There we go. That one didn't feel like it was catching, but it's in there. And so the last thing to do on here is, of course, got to somehow pull this wire. There's 2 of them actually. And these wires right now, so you can see where this one comes out on this side of that plastic. It's on this side here. It's supposed to be on this side. So I've got to pull it back out on both sides and slide it back under so I can put it in place. Shouldn't be too bad, but wire management would be, it would be nice when you do the issue if it was a little bit clearer where the wires go. Sorry, I'm blocking. But what I'm trying to do, you know, instead of possibly breaking the LED, I'm going to neither is a really good choice. I was gonna take this out, but I know there's really tiny springs underneath there. Okay, that got that out there. Moving it over to the other side is really a piece of cake. I mean, once I pulled it out, it really almost naturally just popped into here. And I can grab it with a pair of tweezers and slide it in, and it should sit in. There's a spot, let me move the light. There's a spot right here where it's supposed to go. Identical one on the other side. So let me see if I can get this one to slide in there. And the biggest thing is to get it to seat in there. And then be able to get the wires back to where they're supposed to be. That's not the way I want to do it. I had the whole wire pulled through, and it would seat, but then I would have to pull pretty hard and crimp the wire to get it back through there where it's supposed to be. So back up just a hair. It is so close to going in there. It's a little bit twisted from what it should be. Let's see if I can get it to go the other side in first. Because it should, I'm sure, fit in there flush once it's in. Might be a little bit far forward. It was in, but it popped out. Was about to grab a blade, but I don't want to use a blade on anything with wires and inadvertently cut the wires. Come on. And I see what the problem is. The plastic part that I didn't want to take out is what is blocking it from making it down. As I push, the top of the neck piece that everybody has a gap on is pushing up. So let me see if I can get it. Is just not going in there. Let me try the other side. Sometimes when you can't get it on one side, you do the exact same thing on the other part, and it pops right in, and then you realize what you were doing wrong. At least that works for me quite regularly. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I got clouds bumping heads out there. Which was really interesting because we have a gas griddle that we cooked dinner on, and we had to hurry up and get it covered before, get dinner done and get it covered before the rain started, because it's cast iron, the griddle itself is, and we just don't want it to rust. Should be okay with the cover on it, but without the cover it would be really, really bad. Those are just not wanting to stay in there. I mean, it'll pop down in, but it's not seating all the way. I almost wish they'd have had me do this before I attached the top of the skin from the neck. I'm going to just get them as close as I can. They're not going to be seated, and I'm going to see when it comes time to put these in if there's going to be something holding them in place. If not, I'm going to glue them. Omar, how's it going? Welcome. So that completes stage 27. Like I said, I'm going to leave it the way it is. Stage 28, we start with more windows. Oh, of the Mar. I like that, Kenny. So another piece of the saucer. This time it has its clear part that goes with it. Some more windows. Sounds good, Omar. All are welcome. So, interesting. Black windows right there. That should be part of the neck. Actually, the base of the neck on the secondary hull. More of the saucer skin. The reflective plate. A couple more BM screws. A couple DM screws. Once it's finished, it's 27 inches wide. Let me see if I can. Let me go look at the poster. I actually have a poster on the wall. It says 50 centimeters wide and 77 centimeters long. So 27 equates to 50 centimeters. So probably 35 or 36 inches long. DM screws away. Put the BM screws away. More windows, a light, couple of escape, couple of the hatches for the escape pods. I'm going to trim these a little bit. Sorry, I'm off camera. Put these in, make sure the it is a big D. So 4 black, 3 clear. There's 2. 2 more. This one, this clear one, has exactly 3 on it. Clouds are really angry out there right now. But it's not raining, at least I don't think it is. And it's not really, the lightning's not really close. Okay. I'm picking this up because the cloth keeps pushing the windows out. I want the cloth because I don't want this. I want it to get scratched. There we go. That one was close. I don't want to get the surface of the ship scratched. And if the cloth, so I want the cloths, but the cloth is pushing the windows back out. And I'm rambling. And I'm just covering the escape hatches with my thumb so that they don't fall out. I keep setting things on my glue spot. I think I need to move that tape so that it's not in the way. I know that several of you were here, but those of you that weren't, the biggest reason that I am gluing all the windows in is one night when I was working on this, I bumped a piece in about 50 or 60 windows just went everywhere. That's thunder. Don't need shields right now. I'm actually up and active, so Donnie can't get to my stash. Although I do have 2 new guards that I'll have to point out later on when I'm using different camera angles, especially for Eric. Actually, Kenny, I missed one, I think. I missed 1 or 2, and you know, it's funny because I still do the same thing that I used to with when I was aircraft maintainer. Is I'm really good at finding that stuff. I dropped off the F-16, and you'll see the antenna when I post the pictures on the site. I dropped this little antenna that is smaller than the tip of this needle, and I found it. Actually, I dropped it like twice. I have guards on the stash. Plus, you worked all day today, Donnie. You're tired. Crap. Pulled that window out. Get back in there. Set this down. I think this one's done. Yeah. Oh, there was a little bit left. If you ever see these little bottles of super glue, I mean, they're small. They don't have a whole lot in them, but they have enough to work a little bit at a time. They're well worth it. These things here, I want to say I bought like 100 of them for 15 bucks or something like that. And I've been working with them for years. But you can't get to them. I've got guards. That's why Eric isn't here. He's guarding my stash. Set that over there. I also always set these this way up. I've between the benches so that they stand up and the glue flows back into the bottle and doesn't glue the cap on. By the way, Donnie, I just thought of something. I know the best way for you to get a model out of my stash. If you're in the Secret Santa build. Because somebody will definitely get something from the stash. Unless I don't have anything that is in their preference, and then I'll actually go out and buy some. Okay, so that. Okay, before putting this in, and for anybody who hasn't seen it before, you can see there the little pin that goes between the leads on the LEDs and locks the LED in place. Once the LED is down in there and it's screwed in, it will not come out. This one goes right here. Yeah, it goes right here. And this one, if you look at the placement of the LED, should not be right on top of that window, so it's not going to be like the other one that was blaring those windows out. Actually, it might be. It's close. Okay, so that sits on there like... popped it out. Come on, stay in. And I need 3 DM screws. For anybody who doesn't know, the whole stealing my stash thing is a running joke between Mark, Donnie, Eric, and I, because Mark and Eric, or not Mark and Eric, but Donnie and Eric want to steal my stash because it's so small. What's funny is over the months that, you know, because of COVID, because of the chip shortage, it's kind of funny because Eric's stash, I think, is almost outdistancing Donnie's now. Because Eric's broken right now and can't build. But we have a couple of group builds coming, or buddy builds coming up. Alright. So there's the windows. There's the reflective piece behind it. And it says to plug it into the... Where did I put it? Where did I put... Oh, there's the board. The board is still plugged into the... was still plugged into the saucer. So plug this in here. It'd be good if I turned it around and plugged it in the right direction. Power supply is still turned down. Sorry about that, did not mean to bump the camera. One of these days I'll be really cool like Kenny and get an SLR. And that, I think, is a much better glow. There. That's a much better glow than that other one had. Rather than talking to Alexa, I am using the app on my phone to turn lights off and on. So let me get these parts out of the way and all the tools. Ugh. Man, Cobra's neck is heavy. Bring the saucer back. It goes... Okay, it goes right here. Bring this up. It'll go right here. Like so. I'm just looking at the instructions. It says to take this wire. Okay, there's a indent right there so that the wire can come back through here and not get bent or get too mangled. Set this down, do the wire work here, because it shows it going at an angle here. Okay, I see what it's doing. It's not going back as far as I think. That indent is actually not for the wire. That indent pull this wire. Okay. That indent is for the LED housing right there. And then the wire comes back up through here, through this trench, under these wires, actually it just kind of hangs here because these wires are, it could go under these wires, but it really doesn't matter because those wires are just kind of floating there right now. Let me take this back off of here so I can show you guys how this really works, because it's actually pretty, it's a little bit ingenious how they did this. Bring the camera down. So instead of having to do any screws down here, you've got these teeth that line up into the part below it. Slides in there. And then once I get the wire back in the right place, and the LED, it just locks in. And then 2 BM screws. And there are holes up at the top of this one, up at the top of the bracing. I'll show you in just a second. Let me get them in first. Let me get them started at least. So, the 2 screws that I just put in, this one here, and that's what's holding the whole panel in place. Let me tighten them down. Rest of the way. Apparently it is, oh no, it's just showing the wire again, how it runs under there. So the book was just showing another picture, a detailed picture of this wire running from here under here, and you see it is actually loose there. It's not being pinched at all. Actually, let me get my big hand out of the way. You can see it. Let's see. Where'd it go? This one here. So if I get it there, you can see it right here. That's the wire that's moving there is the one I just put in there. That says to hold on to this piece for later. That's the end of stage 28. This might only be a one-parter, Donnie. Except for this is one of them. Yeah, there's 2 of the really, really good windows with so many, or good panels with so many windows. Try not to cut the screw bag in the bag. This one has, let's see, we got 2 harnesses here with 2 lights on each harness. BM screws. Two more light harnesses. Okay, I see what you were talking about when you were talking about it. It was like similar to the bridge. So this is going to go in here like that. So here's the piece from stage 28 that we didn't use. Still got the black windows here. This is, hang on. There, I've got it aimed further over. Come on, focus. This is the windows for that part, for this part here. And it just, flip it around, it will just pop in there just like that. Right here's where an LED will go. Doesn't tell me to do that yet. I just looked at it and realized that's what it does. Bunch more windows. Interesting. Have not seen something like that before. Not sure where that's going to go in at. I hazard a guess that it's going to be in the Cobra neck where I was having the issues. Ah, yes. And I have two types of screws this time. I have AP, well, three types of screws, but I have plastic and metallic screws, or screws that go into plastic, screws that go into metal. Nope, not going to do it, Donnie. Can't do it. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture, because you just keep it. So those were BP. These are AP, and like I said, they're plastic and metal, or these are both for plastic. Have a great evening, Omar, and enjoy dinner. So let me bring the book back over here. First thing it calls for is to cut the escape pods off. Haven't bought them yet, Mark, but I'm still contemplating getting the stickers for the escape pods. There's only 590 escape pods. So I'm not sure. I just got closed in. Wow. This is the first one of these that I believe it's the first one. First the skin, outer skin, that is plastic instead of metal. I'm trimming the escape pod hatches like I did before. As I go along, I find things that work a little bit better. By trimming these, I'm making them seat just a hair better. And what you guys don't know is every time I do one of these things, one of the these panels, the first thing I do when I'm dealing with the escape pods is I look over at the other ones and make sure that they all go the same way. So these all go, you know, with the red towards the front of, or towards the rim of the saucer. Of course, if I buy the stickers, not the decals, I mean, $180 for dry rub decals is a bit much in my book. But if I buy the stickers, it's not going to matter. These actually stick out a little. I don't know. I maybe I didn't notice. Maybe it's just because I haven't done it in a while. Be quiet, Donnie. I know it's been a while. But I thought that most of them have been metal so far. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue out here. Way too much, actually, for just these three escape pods. You know, I read pretty sure the others have been plastic, and I thought it was Mark that said that. Sorry, Mark and Donnie. Do not mean to confuse you guys. And so if you think some of these have been plastic, are you secretly doing this model? Are you secretly building the Enterprise, Donnie, and that's how you know some of these have been plastic? Just had a thought. Sometimes I have those. Sometimes they're actually pretty decent ones. Instead of bringing the red cloth that has some thickness to it and bounces the windows back out, I'm bringing over a paper towel. I'm going to bring this a little bit closer. I could spin the camera around, but I'm not going to. I'm always confused. Well, see, you can't be an authority on something if you're not building it yourself, Donnie. I mean, come on. So let me see, 20 clear and 10 dark. So I'll put these spare ones away because it is exactly what I have right here. Cool. That wasn't too bad, Kenny. Based on what I was seeing, it was an hour and 30. But I'll tell you what, man. Good on you. I could not do that drive. It would drive me nuts. I lived in California, and it was 20 miles from my office to home in Yuba City, and it took 45 minutes every day each way, and I was like, I just can't do that. It already drives me nuts that I am 6 miles from my office, and it takes at least 12 to 15 minutes. Got a lot of respect for you guys that can drive 2 hours to work. Just couldn't do it. Feels like these windows are softer than the other ones were. I mean, some of them feel like they're, well, these one feels like a soft plastic. These feel like acrylic. Left working. So 6:30. So almost 2 hours. Yeah. Like I said, I could not do it. And especially because when I lived in Germany, when I was at Spangdahlem, we had taken Bitburg housing, which was another base that had been closed during the drawdowns. And so the house I lived in was literally on another base. And it was about a 15-mile drive. But it was also about a 15 to 20 minute drive. Because in Germany, Germans don't kid around. They're moving. And if you're not moving, they'll run you over, especially if you end up on the Autobahn. Yeah, 40 minutes. Should be 40 minutes. Truthfully, my trip should be under 10. But when I get to the gate in the morning, there's usually about 500 cars going through. And that crowd starts at about 6:30 and does not end until about 9. That's why when I get in my new job, I'm going to shift my hours just a little bit so I'm early and I'm getting out early. Yes, Autobahn. I had a car when somebody had rear-ended our Dodge Caravan, and the only thing that was comparable, because that's what they do, is they rent you a comparable car while your car's in the shop. The only thing that they had that was comparable was a Mercedes-Benz station wagon diesel engine. And I'm like, oh, great. I tried that thing out on the Autobahn between Spangdahlem and Bitburg one morning. I stopped pushing at 120 miles an hour and I was still accelerating. It was an impressive car for the size of it. I'm going to go back to my old method that I was doing before, so I'm not knocking these out while I'm doing them. I just realized that I'd changed the way I was doing it. And I'm going to glue them in as I put them in, so that I don't bump them and have them go everywhere. And I'm crawling around underneath the desk fighting with the tile monster. As entertaining as that is for you guys, I hate it. Oops. Every time I look at the tweezers, I think needle nose pliers. I'm like, no, not needle nose. Get back in there. Black one. Clear black. That would be my grandson's dog. He is he's a noise hound. That's the breed. A noise hound. He barks all the time. Maybe not all the time, but enough that it's annoying. So there's those three. Not sure if I've got enough glue. That's one of the things when I'm using this glue that I use, as it starts drying on the tape, it gets stickier, and so it pulls the parts back out. Come on. No, actually, Dan, what I'm doing is it's a thin enough glue that I'm just applying it to the top. And by the way, if you actually run into Wayne, or if you actually know him, since you said you are within about an hour away from him, let him know that he's having bad influences on Americans. I have a thing called a glue looper, which I don't use very much anymore because I got this idea from him. Was watching his videos. I'm like, that's really cool. So I do the same thing he does. I take a pin and cut the end off and use a pin vise. But what I'm doing is the glue is thin enough that when I touch it to the top here, it runs down underneath. That one popped out. This is upside. It's close to upside down. It runs down underneath, and then it just holds the window in. And these windows are small enough that even if it ends up frosting these clear ones, it doesn't matter. It's not like you're going to see anything inside the ship anyway. I try to only put it on the top. And if it gets on the bottom, it just holds it a little bit more. That one looks like it's sticking up still. And I also try to hit it like that between the seams so that it flows down underneath it a little bit better. And by the time I get done with the whole thing, most of the windows are really well dried and they're not going to fall out. I started doing this, I mentioned earlier, after I dropped about 50 windows and had to go looking for them all. This was well before I had the stockpile I have now. This was like in the first couple of issues. There are some of the windows that I've got are not glued in. They're just sitting in there. I think the glued in ones are better. And I think some of my ones that are just sitting in there have actually popped up. And I've got some fit issues on the surface of the model because of that. And after getting this technique from Wayne, I use it all the time. I use it with regular glue as well. No, Donnie. No. We'll do that with yours when you start buying one. I just looked over and I realized something. I didn't show this yet. So, got a box here, got it a couple of weeks ago. And there were specials. There were 2 different sets of specials depending on when you subscribed. I ended up with 3 subscriptions. And I still got the free special for one of the subscriptions, even though I canceled it. And I got them because they didn't have them in stock when I got the issue 1 that I got. So I got the pins as well as the 2 mugs. Thought that was really kind of cool. And if anybody hasn't seen it, if anybody hasn't seen it, there's the coffee cup. I have one out, because I have 2, I have one out that I use for keeping tools in. The other one stays in the box. So, a little bit more glue here. Other thing to do, to realize, if you ever start doing what I'm doing, which Wayne does the similar thing, he puts it into a he puts the glue into like the clear plastic parts that these came out of. I put it on a piece of blue tape that I have sitting specifically there for it. The thing about the glue is if you put more out, the pins were out of stock for a long time, but when the glue, when you put more on it, if you put it on top of glue that's already dried, it makes the fresh glue dry faster, to where it gets stickier a lot quicker. I really should start using the clear plastic that these things come in, because that way I could do a spot further away, and it wouldn't get as dry as quickly and wouldn't pull parts out like it just did there. But I've been using the tape thing forever. So, okay, this next one is reversed. It's black and then clear. And sometimes when these things get a little bit unruly, I will grab them with the tweezers instead. This one just doesn't want to go in the hole. You're waiting on dinner. What's for dinner? Hey Kenny, what's for dinner? We had some homemade burgers made on the griddle outside. Really, really good. My wife was actually supposed to take my grandson somewhere today, and that plan fell through, so she didn't have a plan for what dinner was going to be. And so she threw the burgers together really quick. They were yummy. Let's see. I can see on this one here, I'm still not sure what, if anything, I'm going to do with it. Okay, I shifted it a little bit. This window that I just did here, this black one, as I was looking at it, I could see straight through the paper towel. I can see through on this one. Save the carrots, caps of water bottle. Pasta and meat sauce, that's always good. I've never seen carrots from water bottles, Donnie. Was not sure. I'm sorry, crunching eyes, guys. It's a bad habit I have, especially because I just had a temporary crown put in today. And they told me not to crunch ice, and I'm crunching ice, not even thinking about it. But did not realize that the ladies might be listening, Kenny, so I will say good evening, Kelly and Elaine. Hope you're having a great evening. What, bottle carrots? I may. It sounds intriguing. Oh, and Donnie, just to let you know, not doing bourbon tonight, sorry. I got Canadian whiskey instead. See, we tell everybody that we model because it relaxes us and everything else. It's not the truth. The truth is whatever we're drinking at the time we're modeling is what relaxes us. So I'm guessing that if you're modeling, that you have a shot or a glass, I'm not sure how you drink it, of Jaeger. Yes, Canadian whiskey. I think it was, the brand name was like Lord Calvert. So what have you got in the glass tonight there, Donnie? Is it like I said, Jaeger? Figures. I like Jaeger too, but it's... Oops, that window came out. Get back in there. It's a little bit more expensive. Of course, on the other hand, who am I to complain with 8 bottles of whiskey on the bar right now? Yes, yes, it is. It is very relaxing. And what's funny is I've had people tell me that it would drive them nuts, some of the stuff they see me that I've done, and I'm like, it relaxes me. You know, like this little stuff, these windows could drive me nuts, but instead I'm like, there's a sense of accomplishment when you get them all in, and they're relatively in the right spot. So this one's got a huge gap. There is that. I know it is more better. Do you drink it straight, Donnie? I like it straight. It was funny one time my wife came home with a bottle of it and I'm like, okay. Hadn't, wasn't really much of a Jaeger drinker at the time. She brought it home, and if Donnie drinks it straight, he's going to go, no! I threw some Coke in it, and I was like, holy crap, that stuff is good that way. Okay, straight out with Coke. And of course, ice. Oh, straight or with Coke. Gotta have it iced. I'm pretty sure you probably keep the bottle in the freezer. When I have one, that's where mine lives. Last one. And of course it grabs both windows and pulls them out. It's where it belongs if it's not in the glass, is in the freezer. Just shy of enough glue. Okay, so this one is, I'm just looking at which wire harness I need here. It says 29J. J is this long one. And the yellow and white wire. Spice Drum is good. It's, Captain Morgan's is one I have, the one I have more often than any other. But there's one out there called Sailor Jerry. It's kind of funny because when you drink Sailor Jerry, if you get the proportions mixed just right, it tastes exactly, not a little bit, but exactly like Dr. Pepper. Is that on there? No, it's not. We've also got, because the kids are here and I don't know, kids kind of like the girly drinks a little bit. We have some, Captain Morgan's coconut rum instead of spiced. And I'm grabbing 3 BP screws. And so they're going to make some pina coladas. Yes. We also have, bottled Long Island iced tea. And a lot of it is because Nicholas is about to move to Alaska. He's going to go be an air traffic controller. He started school for it today. And I'm like, good on you. Better you than me. Because I know how much stress they have. Kenny should. Kenny should definitely try. Except, I don't know how much you drink, Kenny. I have to find it and see if for sure if it was Sailor Jerry. I I think it was Sailor Jerry. It might have been something else, but it was a spiced rum. Okay, so that's got that in there. I just put a fingerprint on my glasses. Power's hooked up, I think, yeah. Says to check the lights. This is a wider one. It'd help if I would put this on correctly. That one works. And that one is out, damn it. See, that is why some of the wiring is just a little screwy. Because there should be a screw up here to hold it. Should be a screw up here to hold it down so that this light cannot come out. Because right now there's a serious gap there. And I know it's going to get held in once this screw goes in when it's in the model. But right now it says to set this one aside. So now we get this one back, and 29H, I'm looking in the book to see which one it is. 29H is the shortest one, shortest wire. So this will go in here like that. Like I said earlier. And the green and yellow wrap around up here first, and will be held in by this. Instead of having the lug in down inside, it's held in here. The red and black wire is held in by this lug right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in place best that I can. Hopefully they'll stay there while I put this on here. What's blocking this? I think it is actually that LED right there is not playing nice. Let me see if I can push it down inside here and have it. Oops. See if I can get that in there. Better, much better. And this one should be able to pop right in here pretty easily too. I promise, guys, I don't talk this much to myself when I'm not on the stream, although I do talk some. Okay, those two are in there, and those are both APs. I'll tell you right now, having this box for the screws works really, really well, because I don't even have to look. I know which compartment I put each one in, and so I just hit it with the magnetized screwdriver. This is one of the spots that it says to use a piece of tape. Kind of funny, it doesn't say. It's gonna wait until it's actually connected in to the Cobra's neck. We're not gonna test the lights. We're gonna actually put it on there and make sure it works with the power supply that's in the neck. So that's in there. This one's definitely not coming out. This one, it says to use one of these black strips of tape over top of it. I'm thinking it's probably twofold. One, one is to hold it in there. The other is to light block a little bit. And it says to bend this sideways. I hate that they always have you bend it sideways. Bring back the Cobra neck. And these last two wires are both 29I, and they will go in. Oops. See if I can. Okay. A and B right here. Those two spots. So it actually shows it's threading from the outside in. Up across. Not quite across, but beside the battery box for this one. I'll try and show it to you once I get this one in there. Runs through there. And of course it's facing the right way. I was going to say it's facing the wrong way. Let's see. Come on. Try not to bend any pins. That would really, really suck. So this one here comes in through here, comes down next to the battery box, through here, underneath here, and to here. This other one is a whole lot easier. It just goes underneath this piece here. Underneath this piece right here. Easier to see if I don't have my hand. No! Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. Did I? Hang on. I did. This one's over here. I grabbed the one with the wire in it, or the one that was attached. The yellow wire came out right here, right here. And if that was closer together, it would not have. So let me put this back over here and hopefully not grab it again. This wire is the one I was trying for. It was over here. It was over to that direction. So it comes under here, out here, and plugs in to its slot. Let's just see. Yay! Lights all came on. So now this one goes. Oh, that one's not that bad. This one plugs in to this connection right here. Come on. Always helps if you put it in the right way. You don't like spiced rum. What if we found a mix of spiced rum and Coke that tasted like Dr. Pepper, Kenny? I think you'd like that. This one is actually, I just looked, this wire, oh, here. This wire here is actually in the wrong spot. Let me turn this, there, that's better. I'm almost falling, it's almost falling off the table. So this wire, instead of being here, is supposed to be down here. So let me see if I can get that back through where it's supposed to be. I just need to have one of these lights. Got that one. Come on. And that one. There, that's now where it's supposed to be. This one's where it's supposed to be. And so very carefully pull these up out of the way. And this that's where that goes. I almost didn't put it in there. That would have been ugly. That little red and white, or yeah, red and clear plastic. This little thing here goes in here, and I've got to figure out which side goes, or which it looks like. Take the docking alignment light. So one shit. Win. Win. I just win. I just dropped that. And so what it says is one side is slanted, one side is flat. Come on, focus. There. One side is slanted and one side is flat. And the flat side goes down. So let me see if I can get it in there. Might be easier. Okay, so that's going to go on there like that. I'm just looking to see which side the slanted side has got to go on. Is anything going to hold that down? It does not look like it. So let me pull that back out. And I think I already mentioned that I might have to glue this light down. Absolutely hashtag winning. So now if I can get that to stay in place. just need it to stay in place long enough for me to put this thing on. I believe that's the way that it needs to go. I will carefully bring those wires back out. And I think that is going to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoa. 3 BMs, 2 APs. We will do the APs first, because APs going into plastic, they're going into the part of the cobra's neck that everybody complains about because it has a gap. I don't think the gap is going to matter that much once the saucer's on. And I don't think I'm ever going to have my saucer off. So tighten that one down. Should be able to let go of it. Before I tighten these all the way down, I'm going to put the other screws in. Would help if this one would thread in. Get it in that hole. I am not going to let this one not be, I'm going to tighten this one all the way down, and this one, because that's nowhere near the other ones. Hopefully I won't hate myself for doing this. And look at that. So on this side there's a significant gap. On this side the gap goes away. Don't know that there's going to be, no, there's no other screws in there, but those 2 screws tightening that down is going to make a lot of difference on how that fits in there. So let me get the BM screws. Gap matters. Hey, if it comes down to it, I will run a bead of putty in there and call it good. That one's caught. These ones I'm going to get threaded before I push them all, or thread. New lips, can't talk. I'm going to get them all threaded before I seat them fully. Okay, that's that one. So I'm going to tighten the middle first. Tighten this one. I like the way that they actually are hiding the screws and the gaps, and the seams on the cobra's neck. Because you can see the seam right here, but it's going to be covered by a piece. A bit of seam, the screw here, these screws are all going to be underneath something. These 2 look like they're going to be out in the open. That light's there. So let me turn this on. It lights up some. Actually, it lights up better on camera than I expected. That right there is not good. But I'm not sure what to do about it at this point. Not sure if I'm going to have to do anything about it, because when the ship is together, it shouldn't show, I don't think. So that's cobra's neck right now. Let me set it over here, and it actually will stand up at this point all on its own. So looking into my bag of tricks that's left, this is issue 30, and I'm at 1 hour and 56 minutes. I've got this part here, and some more windows. Interesting. The only thing left to do, I'm going to go ahead and do it. The only thing left in this issue to do, I'm going to do it so it's done, and I end up with, absolutely. So, only thing that is left when I look in the book, and Dan, I appreciate that. I'm really hoping that the gaps will all close up. There are some that I'm pretty sure that aren't going to, like the one on the side of the cobra's neck. So this piece, oh, sorry, I'm showing you guys my arm instead. This piece does not have any glass for tonight. So it won't, nothing will be done with it. Only thing that's left to do in issue 29, or issue 8, stage 30, is windows. I'm going to go ahead and take these windows and finish it off, and hopefully within the next month or so get more parts. Screws. Let's see, 16 clear, 14 dark. That's not too bad. And I can do that and that. So those three plus this one is 14. I feel like I should have more of the dark windows still up here. So that one goes back in the spare parts box. There are no escape pods on this one. Actually, Dan, I believe them a little bit because the Eaglemoss tends to fix things as they're going. My guess is that the All Good Things Enterprise, the one with the third nacelle, is going to be how they expand this one, like they did the DeLorean. Like I expect that they're going to do the Ghostbusters. They tend to find a way that they can expand the number of issues out. Although I think, or the number of stages, I think the Enterprise is already 141, which is where they tend to get to. So, be interesting to see. I know with me on issue 8, I'm actually caught up with pretty much, I think I'm caught up pretty much with most people. But I've got 2 years to go on this build. And so I needed 16 clear. So there's 5. 15. 16. So these two can get put away. Let's open the tape. Thinking about using that tape to hold the LEDs in. So there's that. Sorry, thinking, guys. I know I usually keep up a stream of babble. Sometimes nonsense, sometimes insightful stuff. If it's ever insightful, let me know. I really want to know. I usually just keep talking to keep, because to me, that's what makes the stream entertaining, is to listen to what people are saying. So let me get these last ones. And even though these are different kind of plastic than a lot of the plastic a lot of the models, it all goes in the styrene box or the sprue box, whatever you want to call it. So instead of doing one at a time and gluing, I'm going to try and see if I can get one row at a time done. So this one is 3 blacks followed by 2 clears followed by 2 blacks. Get in there. Issue 2 is back ordered for me, stage 6 specifically. Yeah. It's kind of funny, Dan, that I'm not getting issues because I literally subscribed to this thing when it first came out. And then for a short while, I was doing weekly, until I ran out of money. I was doing the weekly, and since I dropped off of the weekly back to the monthly, I've not gotten an issue. They say that they're out of issue 9, or they have some logistics problems, which I agree they probably do, and they can. But the problem is, I asked them. I actually talked to customer service one time, and when you order, when it's your turn to get a shipment, what happens is they go, your shipment day, they go and look and see what's in the warehouse. They don't look and see who's got what. They just look and see what's in the warehouse, and then they fill orders in some random order. So if your ship day is Thursday and they have the parts on Tuesday, they may ship them all on Tuesday and then not have any on Thursday. So you sit there for months on end waiting for parts. Not the best way to do it. They did it the same thing. They did the same thing with the DeLorean. I don't know if they're doing it with the Ghostbusters. And Donnie, I would love to go back to it, to the weekly shipments. The only problem is the pocketbook won't support it. I will start a GoFundMe, and you can be my first subscriber, or your first donator for my GoFundMe to get these every week. Can't afford it. And next you're going to say, well, cancel everything else. I could afford it then. You're right, I could afford it then, but I don't want to cancel everything else. Sorry guys, I just looked up and saw that all you see is the back of my hand. There, that's better. Wait, Donnie has badges now? I think you actually had a badge. No, you didn't, actually. I don't think you had any badges. So that means when the Sunday stream comes back, I can put badges on Donnie. That's awesome. And actually, I think that's why you went after a group build badge, Donnie, is because I said, dude, you don't have any. Everybody else does. What the hell? By the way, Donnie, once you put that on your profile at HLI, I can steal it from there to put onto the stream. And speaking of the Sunday stream, it should be coming back early in October. For some reason, the shit that was stressing me out at work, since I am leaving that location and going to a new job, all that stress has started dropping away. I feel like doing more of this stuff. Friday when I got the offer for my new job, stress fell away so fast. I was so happy. And I've realized, guys, because I was chasing a pay raise for the last couple of years, or last year or so, and I've realized that there are some things that just ain't worth the effort. And that pay raise was one of them, because the headaches that were coming with where I work right now just are not worth it. Just checking to make sure I put everything in right so far. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm not sure what I'm going to do or if I'm going to do anything for it, but in about a month and a half will be my 1 year anniversary of streaming. And actually, that's what I do mostly, is streaming on YouTube. I think it's Thanksgiving weekend, maybe. I don't remember for sure. I'll have to go back and look, but it's in November. I know that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything special, or if I'm going to, maybe do like Kenny does and pull up the internet or my desktop and maybe look at what I've done over the last year. The builds that I've started that are still in limbo, but are still out there, going to be built. Thinking the Titanic and the Black Pearl, because those were a couple that were started strong and have fizzled out. But it's because I've gotten the more complicated builds going and got a little bit discouraged on the Pearl a couple of times. Plus, it's a lot of fun to mess with Eric and not do the Pearl. Just like it's a lot of fun to mess with Donnie and not do the Enterprise. No, Donnie, I'm not giving away my stash. I'm giving away your stash. Didn't you know that? Kenny probably didn't tell you in the fine print, that's in the fine print when you get badges, that I get to give away your stash on the live stream. No, I will say, Donnie, though, I'm not going to give away my stash, but I may give away something in another 130, I think, or 120 or so subscribers. In the first year, I've gotten up to, I think it was 134 last time I looked. What, giving away your stash would be a lame gift? Well, then you need to put some more models in it. All right. Actually, Donnie, I'm going to give away a rock. The shipping is going to be the gift. The fact that it costs $500 to ship it from here to anywhere. That's the gift. The fact that I shipped a rock to you. Wait, you don't need a loan to get a model. I seem to remember somebody mentioning on Discord something about the stash being around 26 models. I remember those days. Those were long ago. We should. You know what we should do? Not on Thursday itself, not on Thanksgiving, but what we should do is a Discord live stream, and somebody needs to go to, damn it, somebody needs to go to Jersey and teach Kenny how to get on Discord with his camera so that he can join in the stream and do something. Maybe even get out a tray table and build in the living room or something. And what, Donnie? I think I missed something there. It was probably something I said. Last row. I now see why Wayne does, when he does his live streams, he breaks them up. Close. I'm hoping these will all stay put. I'm actually getting a lot of glue on the top of these. And you have 26 models is actually not bad. That's not a bad stash. When you end up with a stash like I have, I'm not sure if it's a good stash or if there's a mental problem there. I'm thinking it's a little bit of both. And so, similar to the last one, this one, the yellow and black wire, is going to go in. You're right, it is time to burn off the pin. Jalen, where you been? Welcome to the stream. Of course, what's funny is Eric showed up at first and was here right off the bat. I think he was the first one, and dropped off 13 or so minutes later, give or take. Okay, so this one will go on here like that. You can see that the pins go right through there, through the reflector. And looking at this, the yellow one goes in right here and is probably going to fall right back out. Actually, no, it's not, because the track, if you look, the track that it goes into is pretty well, it's going to be pretty well covered once it's attached. Actually, I have to bend the wire to even get it in there. I'm off that Friday at my age. Business stash. I don't think so, Dan. My stash started 8 years ago. 8 years ago, I had 1 or 2 models. No. 8 years ago, I had no models. No, I'm sorry, not 8 years. 10 years ago, I had no models. And I started around 13. Yes, that's exactly what happens. Don't even know where the stash came from. You get to a certain point, and your models start doing things that you don't want to know about, and suddenly you end up with a shit ton of models. Happened to me. I mean, it's so bad that I think I actually have 3 more models on the way. I didn't plan on buying anything. But I am slowing down on purchases because I need to start getting the part works. You know, getting them to where they're not a tax on my funds. Especially considering there's 2 more about to come out. The Batmobile, let's see, they first mentioned it about a year and a half ago, so it should be coming out really soon. Let's see, start. Oh, that's no fun. That is no fun, Dan. Last time I went to the eye doctor about 3 weeks ago, I was told I have cataracts. Just slight ones, but I have cataracts. So, I'm not looking forward to that. Let me plug this into the board here. Come on, get in there. That's as far as I'm going to plug it in. Doesn't need to go any further. Lights up. So let me disconnect this now and reconnect my HLI board, or both of my HLI boards actually. They run off the same power. Before I hook the other one back up, pull the power back up, that way it'll start right off the bat. Maybe. Okay, let me turn the power off and start it back up. That's better. Spence, if he'd have seen that, would have freaked out. He'd have been like, no, what happened? Because he's done it before. So, at this point, I have those. Got the work I did on the saucer. Of course, okay. Got the work I did on the saucer. Let me put these screwdrivers back in the box so I know where they are. And this power supply. And I'm going to gently, ever so gently, move this camera. And there's where we're at. We've got the Cobra's neck, 2 warp engines, only because I have to. I still have to do the mod. We've got the deflector dish, a little bit of the neck, the bridge dome, and the dish. What did I see? I'm just reading it. I'm going to... Ew! Don't do that, Kenny. That sounds terrible. Okay. So, that's it for tonight. And as I promised, I'll show you... Wish Eric was here. I really wish Eric was here to see this because, like I said, I have 2 new guards. Let me see if you can see them. That's my wife. I'll talk to her in a second. But, yeah, there's Goofy and Goofy. They're standing on top of the light. What did who say to Kelly? Did you say something to Kelly, Kenny? Because I don't think I did. All right. Close this. So we're at 8.5 hours, 8 hours and 21 minutes. So I'm going to call this a stream. A lot of fun tonight. Unfortunately, for right now, that is all I have of the Enterprise. Next week, I will be either doing the Ghost. I have 4 that I can do: Ghostbusters, the X-Wing, the Terminator, and the Iron Man. Oh, that's why he needs a no job, because Kelly socked him in it. Okay. But not sure which one I'm going to... Hockey took its toll on my nose. Well, there's that. Not sure what I'm going to do next week, but I will be streaming again next week. I might even stream Thursday. I appreciate you guys stopping by. X-Wing. Nobody's asked for X-Wing in a long time. So, like and subscribe. If you if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. That way you get the notifications. Don't forget to click the little bell icon. I try and stream every Tuesday, 6 o'clock Central Time in the United States. I know I've got several international subscribers at this point. And if you haven't stop by Hobby Link International. There's a link in the description. It is a great place to meet other modelers. A lot of people over there, a lot of modeling going on over there. Kenny Conklin does a great job with him and his crew. Plus, they're also selling boards, the flasher boards I was just talking about. Matter of fact, these 2 right here, this is the FX01 simple flasher board. FX02 has 2 functions. You can't see the red LED flickers a little bit. Push and hold, and you get disruptor fire. Push once, you get a photon torpedo, a Klingon photon torpedo. Great little boards, well worth it. Best, and Kenny flat out has the best warranty in the business right now, 10 years on his boards. So, appreciate you stopping by. Everybody have a great evening. You guys in the chat, thank you very much for stopping by, and I appreciate what you're saying. And I will catch you guys later.